Hello again, whiskey friends. Thanks for joining, everybody, for another blind review. Todd Ritter over at the Bourbon Road podcast sent me a box of 12 different samples. I diligently blinded myself from knowing what was in the box and have been reviewing them one by one. It's honestly been just a blast so far. The three big surprise pours have been the Knob Creek Blenders Edition, the Evan Williams 250th, and the winner in the clubhouse thus far is a 10-year redemption high rye bourbon. Will today's sample be able to top the leaderboard? Let's find out together. So thank you for joining, whiskey friends. Let's kick off the show. So in this box, brought to you by Top Dog, sadly, there are only 3 samples left here. Now, one of them's a 1-ouncer. I'm going to keep that one for the finale. But if you've been enjoying the series, be sure to go back and check out some of those other videos. We're going to pull one of those samples in just a moment. And if you like honest reviews and hanging out with whiskey friends, you're in the right place. Hit that like and subscribe, and to continue, follow our journey here. And if you want to join our community, check out links in the description to our private Facebook group or our Patreon, both of which you can join for free. But if you would like to support the channel, you do get first priority on our barrel picks. The upcoming slate of barrel picks are pretty darn amazing and include multiple 10-year bourbons, a 12-year wheat whiskey, and a 13-year rye, just as a little bit of a preview. But in terms of the blind review format, behind the scenes, we do have a robust scoring system. 10 metrics that can ultimately be summarized as a flavor score, an experience score, and a value score. And since this is blind, I don't actually know the price or the value on these. So we kind of take that out of the equation and just rate the whiskey for what the whiskey is. Aggregate those scores together, and then we can see how it compares to other things that we have reviewed across the years. Thus far, as mentioned in the intro, the highest one in this flight so far was a 10-year redemption high rye bourbon, scoring an 89 out of 100. Man, that's a buy every time. Let's see how today's whiskey scores. All right, so we're going to get in the box here, play a little battleship. I pulled from row B last time, so let's get row A here. So I'm going to diligently not look at the label here. All right, so I got the whiskey sample here, and then I even use a black Glen to hide the color from me as well. So I don't even get the benefit of that information to sway me. And when you do these blind reviews, especially without knowing what the brand is, really does shatter all preconceived notions. It helps your mind not like insert flavor notes that it thinks should be there. I've had like wild things happen doing like blind reviews, like even reviewing Jack Daniels. The banana note wasn't present while I was doing it blind. And the moment I knew it was Jack Daniels, it's like, oh, there's that banana note. It's like your mind just fills in the gaps. But I'm going to turn my head here. I'm going to try to find this label so I can show you what it is while still not knowing myself. So here is today's sample. Hopefully that camera is doing well. Zooming in for you so that you can see what this is. I'll kind of turn it there slowly so you can see all the letters. And then I'm going to put it in my hand and blind myself again. Oop, come on, camera. There we go. All right. So let's get this one. Pour it in the Glen. There we go. All right, we're poured in the black Glen. Let's get the cap back on this. Put it in my pocket. And we are successfully blind. Now, as we go through this, I'm going to go through the whole experience with you, describing the nose and grading the nose, the front palate, mid palate, finish, taking you through my process. And then you'll see how the scores accumulate at the end. So cheers, everybody. Let's get into this thing. Ooh, that nose. Ooh, that nose sent a little shiver up my spine. I really like that one. Ooh, lots of layers on this one. The oak profile is definitely interesting. It comes across dark, but not necessarily old. There's a little bit of dense chocolate cookie, a raspberry cream, like a raspberry whipped cream, and then a darker spice profile, even getting a little bit of clove on this one. Gosh, there's even a little bit of a dark honey, maybe even like a maple syrup. And if I go that maple syrup route, it's like the syrup got saturated inside a chocolate cake. Ooh, a little bit of powdered sugar there too. I am really digging this nose. Yeah, we're setting the bar really high. to lead things off. We got a 9 on flavor and a 9 on complexity on the nose. I could honestly spend about the next 10 minutes just with this nose if I wasn't recording this with you here. Really, really digging that. All right, let's go in for a taste. Fingers crossed it lives up to expectations here on the taste because this one's got a chance to be the best of the flight if it can continue this momentum. So cheers, everybody. Ooh, man, on first sip there, it's strong. Mouthfeel is pretty good. It kind of dropped off on the finish on that first sip. Let's get into the second sip here, and then we'll really start breaking things down. Cheers, everybody. Yeah, whatever we got in the glass here. It's a really, really strong pour, and the flavor profile is right up my alley. I will say up front, though, man, I wish it was a little stronger up front. The initial flavors that it's giving me are just like charred marshmallow and a little bit of chocolate drizzle, but it doesn't really light you up with a lot of flavor initially up front. And the mouthfeel, it's good. It's nice. It's creamy, kind of missing a little bit of the oiliness that I was hoping. It doesn't coat everything in the way that I kind of hoped there. So given that 8s on flavor and mouthfeel. Man, mid palate though. Mid palate is where this one really shines. Getting a lot of those notes that I mentioned on the nose, like the maple syrup soaked chocolate cake. But what really stood out to me was a cherry blast and an orange citrus blast that kind of happens mid palate. And it kind of breaks through all that darkness and the char and everything else that's going on with that oak profile. And then a little bit of that clove pops up too to give it an overall pretty complete profile from end to end. And then those flavors carry through to the finish. Gonna put the finish at an 8.5, 9 on flavor, 8 on the length of the finish. You know, something about that mouthfeel also resulted in this finish dropping off a little earlier than I wanted it to. But continuing to get a little bit of that cherry with that citrus blast. The spice is still coming through strong. The toasted marshmallow is still coming through. The chocolate, it's quite delicious. I ended up giving the balance on this one a 9, mainly because it was missing a few parts of the experience overall. But that's still netted out to an overall score of an 88 out of 100. Very solid review here. Something I would definitely buy if I see it. And I got to be honest here, pretty much 88s and above are like all I'm trying to buy with my own money these days. All right, let's see what this one is. All right, we'll zoom in here. And we are looking at, oh, Copper and Cask Small Batch 16. Oh, it's a Copper and Cask. Awesome. Man, that's a really good batch. All right. I don't know what batch 16 was. Let's look it up and learn about this together. All right. I got the image pulled up. Let me share screen. All right. So here is the bottle. This is what it looks like if you aren't familiar with Copper and Cask. Yeah. And there's the full bottle there. Let's go in on this one here. Okay. So 11 years, 116.2 proof. And this one was a straight bourbon. You know, it's funny. I was mentioning our barrel picks earlier and how there were some 10 years in the mix. One of the 10 years is actually a Copper and Cask. It was a 10-year that was aged in West Virginia. We're calling it Rode You Like a Hurricane because Darrell lured us over to Rhode Island to do this pick after Rhode Island got hit by that blizzard. And we didn't even know if we could get through the roads. When our plane landed and we're trying to get to the Airbnb, it doesn't say anything about this being double oaked, though. Man, it had a dark profile. Let's see what else I can find about this one. All right, so this is a blend of 24 high rye barrels, distilled and matured in Indiana, blended by Copper and Cask at the Rhode Island facility. Mash bill, 60% corn, 36% rye, 4% malted barley, and it cost $85. And they did about 2,700 bottles in this batch. The flavor profile is described as being sweet and spicy. Copper and Cask lists cherry pie, chocolate truffles, brown sugar, salted caramel, mocha, dates, creme brulee, espresso. Breaking Bourbon independently found lots of cinnamon, brown sugar, caramel, baking spice, tobacco, leather, and oak, calling it balanced and unusually easy to drink for its proof. I didn't get my hands on this batch. I wish I did. This one's a banger. If you see this one around you, pick it up. 85 is a great price for this type of bottle. It's interesting too, because I can't help but think about this in contrast to our barrel pick. And The Rode You Like a Hurricane, the thing that we loved about it the most was its oak profile and how abnormally dark it was. Dark oak with a blackberry. Great, great whiskey. And of course, it's not lost on me. I am an MGP hound. And now two of the highest scoring one in the series are MGP. I like what I like. I can't help it, man. Man, Copper and Cask, killing it. Did you get to try this? Let us know what you think about Copper and Cask in the comments. And if you got your hands on batch 16, what did you think of this one? I think this might be one of the best blends that I've gotten out of Copper and Cask so far, especially for a straight bourbon. And just remember, while you can always find more whiskey, you can never have enough whiskey friends. So take care of those around you, and we will catch you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for watching. Hello again, whiskey friends, everybody. A big shout out to our amazing Patreon community. If it wasn't for you, we couldn't continue to produce the content and barrel picks week after week. And for everybody else out there, be sure to hit that like and subscribe. It really helps the channel more than you know. And we'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody.